When you hear the word accounting, you probably think of boring spreadsheets, right? Well, what if I told you it's actually one of the oldest forms of storytelling out there? Today, we're going to decode the story behind the numbers. So let's jump right in. Yep, that's it. That's really the secret. At its heart, accounting is just storytelling. But instead of using words, the language is all numbers. It's a language that tells you everything about a company's past, what's happening right now, and it even helps you guess what's coming next. And that is the big question, isn't it? I mean, a good story has to be clear, it has to be honest, and it's got to give you the info you need to make smart choices. And to really get that, we need to start small, like really small. So, to get this, we are not starting in some fancy boardroom. Nope. We're going to start on a small farm in Nigeria. This is where you can see the real, raw essence of accounting come to life. Okay, so meet Auntie Funke. She's a farmer, and her whole life is built around her yam farm. For her, wealth isn't sitting in some bank account. It's right there in the ground, the yam she grows and harvests. These are her assets. This is the result of all her hard work. In this simple cycle you're looking at, this is accounting. I mean, in its purest form. Just think about it. She invests by planting yams. She creates her products when she harvests them. She gets her revenue by selling them at the market. And then at the end of the day, she figures out her profit by counting the naira she has left over. That's it. That's the story of her entire year told in 4 simple steps. Right. But what happens when that story gets bigger? When success makes things, well, a lot more complicated. Let's take a look at how Auntie Funke's simple system has to start changing. See, her success actually creates a bunch of new problems. She's hiring people now, so she's got wages to pay. She's buying more supplies. She even has customers who owe her money. What accountants call receivables. All of a sudden, just counting the cash in her hand doesn't tell the full story anymore. She needs a more formal way to do this, a more structured language. And you know what's crazy? Auntie Funke's problem is as old as civilization itself. I mean, we're talking ancient scribes tracking grain on clay tablets. Then, fast forward to 1494, you've got this Italian monk Luca Pacioli who popularizes the system of double entry bookkeeping, a system we literally still use today. And of course, that all leads to the digital spreadsheets of the 80s and the cloud software we use now that gives us real-time data. It's all just been a long search for better ways to tell that financial story. So, as Auntie Funke's business keeps growing, she's not the only person who needs to read her financial story anymore. All of a sudden, there's a whole new audience and they are paying very close attention. Just think about it for a second. Who else would have a stake in her success? I mean, who needs to know if her farm is actually profitable and stable? Suddenly, the audience for her story is getting a lot bigger. Okay, so let's break down this new audience. First, of course, you've got Auntie Funke herself. She needs the numbers to make smart business decisions. Then there's the bank. They're going to want to see her story to decide if they'll give her a loan for, say, a new tractor. Then there's the government, right? They need her numbers to figure out her taxes. And down the line, you might even have investors who want to see her story to decide if her farm is a good place to put their money. See, every single one of them is reading the same story, but for a totally different reason. And this brings us to the absolute heart of it all. When you have so many different people all relying on the exact same story, there has to be one single ingredient that holds the whole thing together. And that ingredient? It's trust. This is the bedrock, the foundation of everything. Accounting ethics isn't just a boring set of rules. It's a promise. It's basically the accountant swearing that the story they're telling with those numbers is true, it's complete, and it's fair. Without that promise, the numbers, well, they're pretty much meaningless. And really, every storyteller has a choice to make. You can tell an honest story, like you see on the left. It shows everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. This is what builds trust and leads to real sustainable growth. But then, there's the dishonest story. Over on the right, hiding debts, making up sales. It might look good for a little while, but it's a house of cards, and it always ends in a total collapse. The legendary investor Warren Buffett put it perfectly. He said, Trust is like the air we breathe. When it's present, nobody really notices. But when it's absent, everyone notices. We just take trustworthy numbers for granted, just like the air. But the second that trust disappears because someone lied, suddenly nobody can breathe. The entire system just freezes up. And the cost of that broken trust is devastating and it is very, very real. Just look at this. When a scandal hits and reveals a company's financial story was all a lie, its value can get wiped out practically overnight. The trust just evaporates and all the money vanishes right along with it. So, honesty, it's not just some moral high ground, it's a bottom line dollars and cents issue. Okay, so we've gone from a tiny yam farm all the way to massive global corporations. But how does any of this connect back to your life? Because here's the thing, you don't need a yam farm to be doing all this. Whether you realize it or not, you're already the chief financial officer, the CFO of your own life. Every single day, you're managing your own assets, your income, your expenses. No, seriously, think about it. Your personal budget, that's your profit and loss statement. Your family savings goals, hey, that's your investment plan. That business idea you've been kicking around, its success is going to live or die by its numbers. Even just trying to understand the news these days, you need to speak this language. This isn't just Auntie Funke's story, it's your story too. So, at the end of the day, whether you're managing your own budget or you're dreaming of building the next great empire, just remember this. You are the storyteller. The numbers, they are just your words. If you tell an honest story, you can build something that truly lasts. So, the only question left is what story are you going to tell?